In today's video, I'm going to provide you guys with a complete guide on how to quit smoking cigarettes, because something as weak as this shouldn't control you the rest of your life. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dr. Frank. I'm the founder of AddictionMindset recovery coaching programs, which are dedicated to helping people quit nicotine, THC, energy drinks, and adult media content, substances I once struggled with. Now today, what I'm going to review with you first is 3 mindsets surrounding quitting smoking, because the right mindset is really the only thing you need. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about nicotine replacement therapy. And then lastly, we're going to talk about supplementation and other little tips and tools that you can use to help you quit smoking. The most important thing when it comes to quitting smoking cigarettes is having the right mentality or the right mindset. And there's 3 very simple mindsets that you can apply going forward when it comes to quitting. Mindset number 1 is start to view nicotine addiction as a choice versus an addiction. A lot of times in society, we're told how hard quitting smoking is, how impossible it's going to be, how bad the nicotine withdrawal symptoms are going to be. And what we wind up doing, as someone who was once addicted to nicotine, I can speak from personal experience on this, we wind up in this cycle of, I can't quit, quitting is impossible, look at all the people who struggle with this is a horrible addiction that I'll never be able to give up, and then we just keep smoking. You would be much better off acknowledging that picking up that cigarette, picking up a lighter, putting it to your mouth and inhaling is actually an active choice that you are choosing to make. For one reason or another, even despite wanting to quit smoking cigarettes, you are choosing to continue to smoke. And breaking away from this model of disease and addiction into a model of making a conscious choice actually starts to put the power back in your lap, okay? Mindset shift number 2, when you're quitting, is focusing on not what you're giving up, but rather everything that you're gaining back. Because let's be honest, this is not anything that you're actually giving up. But there is a lot that you may stand to potentially gain back. More money in your bank account that you can be investing, improved physical health, improved mental health, reclaiming your time. And I think most of all, for once in all, you have an opportunity to end that never-ending conversation between your ears. Should I quit smoking? Should I not quit smoking? One more cigarette? Not one more cigarette. Buy a pack, throw a pack out. Buy another pack, throw a pack out. I'm quitting, I'm not quitting. I want you to recognize how physically stressful and psychologically stressful that thought process is and has been on your body over the last several weeks, years, or decades that you've decided you want to quit smoking. Focus on what you're gaining back, get excited about all of the things that you're going to gain back in life by quitting, and no longer focus on what you're giving up. Because if you approach quitting smoking cigarettes from a place of deprivation, feeling that you're depriving yourself of something, feeling that you're being forced into a decision that you don't actually want to make, then quitting is going to be very, very challenging for you. Mindset shift number 3 deals particularly with the withdrawal symptoms. Some people get withdrawals, some people get very minor withdrawals. It varies person to person. You just have to go through the experience and realize it is what it is when you're going through it. But there is a mindset that can help. Nicotine withdrawal I describe as nothing more than the death of the addiction, and that is something to be celebrated. Nicotine withdrawal is a sure sign that your body is detoxing and healing. It's actually a guarantee that your body still works. You're coughing up all the tar, you might get a little bit of a headache as that blood flow returns back to normal, you might get some tingling in your hands and feet as you start to get circulation again occurring. A lot of the withdrawal symptoms that you're experiencing is nothing more than your body restoring balance, bringing you back to homeostasis. That should be celebrated. Now, for the more annoying withdrawal symptoms, headache, nausea, insomnia, irritability, frustration, anger, that often occur when we quit smoking, recognize that that is addiction's last-ditch effort at trying to suck you back in. And this time, because you have the right mindset, you're not going to fall for it. Now, all you actually need to quit smoking is the correct mindset. And that's actually the #1 way that people quit substances across the board. They just wake up and stop. They don't use supplements. They don't use other medications or other replacement therapies. They wake up one day, they decide they're sick of it, and they're done, and they never look back. So it's a mindset. But for those of you who maybe want to explore supplements and nicotine replacement therapy, we're going to cover that next. Now, where would this potentially be beneficial? Particularly, we'll start with talking about nicotine replacement therapy. For people who are really experiencing intense withdrawal symptoms, I'm seeing this a lot on people who vape, especially if you are, vaping, smoking cigarettes, chewing tobacco, doing a combination of different nicotine products, then a nicotine patch might be your best bet when it comes to quitting. Now, nicotine patches, if you haven't seen them before, this is the brand Nicoderm. I usually recommend this brand, or actually Target, the store Target. Target has their own brand of patches that are pretty good. And what you'll notice on the patches is they come in 3 steps. And the directions are very clear on here, but step 1 is like a much stronger patch. I think it's a 21 milligram patch. Step 2, I think, is a 15 milligram patch. And then step 3, which is what this is a 7 milligram nicotine patch. Now, this is what the patches actually look like. They're these little clear patches that go on your skin. You can shower with them, swim with them. You can play sports with them. It has a pretty good adhesive. In fact, the adhesive is so good, sometimes it irritates people's skin. And basically, you use the patches over the course of 9 to 10 weeks. And how the patch works is it's a slow release of nicotine into your system over the duration of time that you're wearing it. Now, when it comes to the patches, for most people, when we're working with people and consulting on quitting, we're usually starting at step 2 or step 3. So we're starting at the lower milligram patches with people. Many people, I find, especially if we talk about supplementation in conjunction with the patches, can actually start at step 3 and get plenty of, I'll say, benefit from the nicotine that's being delivered over the course of the day, and still find that they have reduced cravings. Now, why would you use nicotine to quit nicotine? This has always been a beef that I've had. And there is one circumstance that actually kind of makes sense, and it has to do with your cortisol levels. When you quit smoking, your body is going under psychological and physical stress, and this can mess with cortisol. So using a nicotine replacement therapy, it sounds like can help blunt or slow down some of that initial blow to the adrenal glands and the cortisol levels when it comes to quitting. Now, we are going to talk about supplements and capsules and chewing gums that can help with that as well too, okay? Now, I actually prefer the nicotine patches to the gums or the toothpicks, or certainly to the sprays. And the reason is because nicotine gum, we work with a lot of people who get addicted to that, and they're chewing they're spending $200, $300, $400 a month on Nicorette gum. So I think gum is very, very habit forming with nicotine in it. I think that's a slippery slope. The sprays, the same type of deal. I have people just administering the spray all day long. And the problem with a gum or a spray or a lozenge or even a mint, a nicotine mint, is it's at your discretion that you're consuming it. And if you're anything like me, moderation isn't in really your wheelhouse. Whereas a patch, you slap this on in the morning and the patch does all the work. It's not at your discretion. It's at the discretion of the patch and the delivery system that the nicotine is getting dosed into your system. Interestingly enough, I talked about this in another video that I'll link at the end of this video up here. I talked about the patch at 7 milligrams also is a level of nicotine that has been shown to have cognitive benefits to people. It's around the level of nicotine that they use in a lot of these studies when it comes to the prevention of Alzheimer's and dementia, or the treatment of it rather, I should say. So I think a low milligram patch is probably your best bet. Now, a word of caution on patches: you absolutely do not want to smoke while you have the patch on. You absolutely do not want to use other forms of nicotine. You can get nic sick very quickly on this, and potentially even having that lead to a hospitalization. When I first started my channel and my programs, I hated the patches because I started off on step 1, which is like a 21 milligram patch. And mind you, I was vaping all day long. I was chewing tobacco all day long. So I was taking in a lot of nicotine. Now, when I used the patch, I stopped vaping, I stopped chewing tobacco. But the 21 milligram patch, it made me so sick. I was so nauseous. I felt terrible. My doctor even recommended combining that with Nicorette gum, which is just mind-blowing to me knowing what I know now. Like, I mean, that probably caused some degree of damage when I had tried to quit that time, permanent damage to my body. But with that being said, low milligram patch, I think, is your best way to go. And you can use the patches, you know, let's say it gives you guidance on here from weeks 1 to 10. But, you know, a lot of people I use a low milligram patch with for the first 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks. And then I tell them if you get cravings after that, use it as needed until you're done with it. Now, I find that combining the patch, so step 1 is the mindset, step 2 is the patch, step 3 is supplementation. Now, I'm going to talk about a few different supplements. The first one in my favorite is KSM 66 ashwagandha. This is a chewing gum that my company manufactures. We're the only people in the world to make this product that contains 50 milligrams of KSM 66 ashwagandha in each chewing gum. It's a chewing gum. Now, KSM 66 ashwagandha has 22 plus clinical trials on it. Not my product, on KSM 66. And it's a patented thing, KSM 66. And a lot of the studies have to do with reducing physical and psychological stress on the body and helping the body better adapt to stress. Now, this is key because when you're quitting a substance, your body is going through physical and psychological stress, okay? A lot of it. So anything that helps to increase your stress tolerance is going to be a huge benefit, and KSM 66 ashwagandha can do that. Now, the other thing is when you're quitting smoking, you're more irritable, you're more stressed. The smallest things just tick people off and they make the biggest deal about them. I could stub my toe and it's as if I broke my leg. I remember that when I quit smoking. So using a product like KSM 66 ashwagandha that helps you better tolerate stress is a win all around. It's a win as far as helping with the physical and psychological stress on your body. It's a win as far as helping with the stressors in day-to-day life. It also has been shown to help with depression, shown to help with sleep, shown to help with recovery. So KSM 66 ashwagandha. Now, if you're buying capsules, I recommend a 300 milligram capsule 1 to 2 times a day. Now, you can find great capsules. I recommend Vitamin Shop brand, but I like our product. Obviously, it's a chewing gum. Even though it's a much smaller dosage of KSM 66, we recommend chewing this gum and then sucking on it. You put it in between your lip and your jaw like you would Nicorette or like you would a Zyn or a nicotine pouch, and then you suck on it. So that allows for buccal delivery of the ingredients, which provides maximal fast-acting absorption because the ingredients now bypass your liver and they go right to your bloodstream first and then for your liver. When you take a capsule, that capsule gets degraded in your gut, it gets degraded in your liver, and then whatever's left over is what you actually absorb, which is a very, very low amount of KSM 66. So people always say, oh, your product doesn't have a lot in it. First of all, we put as much as we could in it. Second of all, you're getting such a high rate of absorption and it's so much faster acting than a capsule. Now, the next supplement that I would recommend is NAC, or N-acetylcysteine, NAC. This supplement was proven to be so good during COVID at helping people with inflammation in their lungs and helping long-term COVID patients with like brain fog that the FDA actually pulled N-acetylcysteine off the supplement shelves during COVID, and they made it by prescription only. Now, a bunch of companies sued the FDA and that ruling got overturned, and N-acetylcysteine is once available again. But early literature shows N-acetylcysteine to be a powerful supplement when it comes to reducing cravings for alcohol, reducing cravings for sugar, reducing cravings for stimulants, reducing cravings for cannabis, and reducing cravings for nicotine. This is huge because you want something that's going to reduce cravings, because a lot of times when people quit smoking, they get blood sugar dysregulation. That blood sugar dysregulation might result in snacking more, eating more junk food, and we don't want to gain weight. So something that can help to reduce not only nicotine cravings, but also cravings for alcohol or sugar or other things that you might reach for when you quit smoking cigarettes is a super powerful thing. And that's just some of the benefits. NAC also helps with dopamine regulation. KSM-66 does the same thing. KSM-66 ashwagandha, I forgot to mention, also helps with focus by stimulating the adrenaline pathways, the same thing that nicotine does. NAC has been shown to be very powerful when it comes to anti-inflammatory properties, which can help reduce that brain fog that a lot of people experience when they quit. We combined NAC, we put 100 milligrams of NAC into our gum. We combine that with KSM-66 in the chewing gum. Now, if you want to buy capsules, I'd recommend 600 milligram capsules of NAC or 1200 milligram capsules. And you can take up to 24 to 3200 milligrams a day of NAC. In our chewing gum, we only recommend 3 to 5 pieces a day. That's really all you need. And this bottle, although it seems expensive on our website, there's 90 pieces of gum in here. So if you're chewing 3 a day, this is a full month supply. We're actually cheaper than Nicorette and other products out there on the market, despite the fact that we're the only product like this in the world. So our cost of production is significantly higher because this isn't being mass produced like they're mass producing nicotine gums for a bunch of different manufacturers and brands, right? So we managed to keep the cost on this very reasonable. Now, if you do get our product, by the way, real quick, the 90 count bottle is a month's supply. The 3-pack, you not only save money, but the 3-pack is a 3-month supply at 3 pieces a day. And 90 days is really the gold standard timeline when it comes to quitting smoking. And we'll talk about that a little more in a moment. Other supplements that I would recommend that we don't make would be creatine monohydrate, okay? The brand that I like the most is made by Protein Factory. The guy on that brand line makes incredible products. He has Creapure. It's a German form of creatine monohydrate. Highly would recommend that. Creatine is great for energy levels. It's great for preserving muscle mass. But there's a lot to show that creatine has significant benefit when it comes to combating depression, another thing that people often experience when they quit smoking. And lastly, you can also find this on Protein Factory. It's called Titanic Red. It's a beet powder, so like beets from beets, okay? And that's actually going to help with nitric oxide production and reintroducing a healthy circulation and healthy blood flow to the body. Beet juice powders, okay, beet powders, Titanic Red, Protein Factory, my favorite brand by far, are also shown to help with the detoxification process when it comes to detoxifying the liver and the kidneys, particularly the liver. There's a bunch of other health benefits as well too. Now, so that's supplements: beet powder, creatine, KSM-66 ashwagandha, and acetylcysteine. I can't recommend our chewing gum enough. Now, there's other products on the market out there too to help you quit smoking. I'm wearing one around my neck right now, and if you get the 90 count or the 3-pack of our gum, this comes with it for free. But it's a little necklace, and I'll show you guys how this works. But basically, this is a little necklace. There's a little tube in there, and there's a little insert that restricts airflow, and you inhale. You inhale on this necklace, and it kind of feels like you're taking a draw from a vape or a cigarette. There's airflow restriction. And we didn't make this just to be a hand-to-mouth motion. We designed this as a deep breathing tool. So when you get cravings, something that you can do is something called the physiological sigh. It's 2 quick inhales, and then a long exhale, but we recommend doing it through this tube. And what we're actually doing there is tapping into the central nervous system to slow down that fight or flight response that so many people feel when they get cravings. So we actually designed this not only as a hand-to-mouth motion, not only something to mimic the idea of hitting a vape or a cigarette, but to also help you control breathing, okay? So you get one of these for free with the 90 count or the 3-pack, or you can buy this separately with a 30 count bottle, or just buy it separately on its own as a breathing tool, okay? We're one of the few brands that actually restrict airflow in these. A lot of these other brands, it's just a hollow tube with no airflow restriction that you see. And that would be really a complete guide to quitting smoking. Now, as far as timelines go, you really want to get through the first 3 to 5 days. That's where nicotine withdrawal typically peaks. After that, your goal is to get through the 2-week hump. That's when your body finally detoxes out the byproducts of nicotine. So we usually see a second wave of withdrawal symptoms. Day 30 is where the brain starts to rebalance dopamine and day 90 is where most of the nicotine receptors in your brain that have been in abundance start to return back down to normal levels. And you have the brain of a non-smoker. Now, full disclaimer, the first 90 days can be a little rocky, even if you have the right mindset, the right supplements, the nicotine patch, and you know, this combination of stuff is the best. Hands down, you know, I don't know, I think this is probably comparable in my practice to cold turkey at this point. And we do get a lot of people that go cold turkey after working with us one-on-one and doing our calls. But yeah, I think this is a pretty fail-proof method. I think we can end smoking with this. And I think we can also end smoking, but at the same time, not wind up getting everyone addicted to Zyn or chewing tobacco products or some of these other ways that you're seeing people quit smoking. Which, look, arguably that's definitely still safer than smoking. So by all means, if you're getting on Zyn and you're getting rid of cigarettes, by all means do that. But hey, if you want to quit Zyn, which I think you should, this is a great way to go about quitting that as well too, the nicotine pouches. I have other videos on that, I'm kind of ranting. But just keeping that timeline on mind, remembering it is what it is, focusing on the right mindsets, following these steps that I laid out for you, and you should be a happy non-smoker. And remember, it takes about a full year for the brain to completely rewire itself, okay? It's about a full year, all right? So just keep that in mind, but you're well on your way to quitting. Now, if you need more help, if you want help with a plan, supplementation, nutrition, you know, different types of nicotine replacement therapy, book a one-on-one coaching call with us, accountability. Book a one-on mindset. That's the #1 thing we do. You can find the links for our supplements, our products, all in the pinned comment or the video description. I hope to talk to you soon. If not, follow me into the next video where I talk a little bit more about nicotine patches and quitting smoking cigarettes and all that.